pretty much, just pretty much teach. And then I might run errands in between. So I was teaching on Saturdays, but now I just get up and train myself, and then that's it. Although I do have a couple of guys who are fighting in about 4 weeks, so I'd probably fit something in for them.
Hi, my name is Panicos Yusuf. I'm a head coach here at All Powers Gym. I've been competing for 20 plus years. I have over 40 plus pro fights. The majority of them wins. That includes 2 World Championship titles. My journey started in Cyprus in September 2000. I competed in the amateur championships, represented Cyprus.
How old were you when you first started training?
16.
And you just literally just found a gym? Was someone training before and then kind of brought you in?
I just found it by accident. Yeah, and then within 2 weeks I just quit everything. Football, basketball, volleyball. From then I started competing at a low-level professional, but I didn't really start my professional career until I moved over to England. I moved over because of the weather.
Here?
I moved over because I met my wife, and just ended up staying. I didn't start Thai boxing until probably here in the UK until a year and a bit later. So when I first got here, I worked as a car valeter. I was just working at first for almost 2 years. I did a little bit of Thai boxing at Mastersked. I found a guy called Paul Thai, Stockport Thai Fighters at the time, and then eventually he retired and passed the gym on to me. I've turned it into All Powers Gym. Not this exact thing. He was the one who made me take that step.
5, let's go punches down, relax, and go! 5, 4, 3, 2.
From leaving my 9 to 5 to opening my own, to starting my own business really.
Okay, back up, go, relax. Go, Pete, again, go!
So when you were at that period in your life, were you ever doubting it, thinking like, okay, maybe I shouldn't?
I was very scared. Like anyone who wants to chase, pursue their dreams or start their own business, there is that the fear of losing that financial stability. Yeah, that was the case with me. He was actually trying to persuade me from ages ago, and then I just wasn't enjoying my job, which at the time was working at a call center. So then that gave me the push. At first it was very difficult, and for about a good couple of years, I wasn't making any decent money. My wife was carrying on.
So like during that time, did you ever doubt your decision?
Yeah, there were times where I wanted to just shut shop and go and work 9 to 5 again, so we can get that financial stability, because we had a mortgage at the time. But my wife was the one who was encouraging me to keep it up, and I did. And then over the time, it got better, and I met some of the friends who've become really close friends of mine who have helped me along the way, who have helped me understand business and how to run a business. And I built a reputation through fighting more here in the UK. Once I got that financial stability, I was able to find a gym and a coach to help me train and fight, which gave me a better reputation, which then in turn got me more students as well. I met a friend who was one of my closest friends now. He taught me business, running this as a platform for people to better their life. So I do this for the love of it, and if I'm making money along the way, then great. But I just, like I said, I'm just trying to create a platform to provide people with what I had when I was getting into the sport. I had my first fight 2 months in. I'd lost my first one, then won my second, lost, and then won, and then lost another one, and then I kind of grew.
So in total, how many fights have you had?
40-ish, and then my pro record is about just shy of 50, maybe 40s. I just stopped counting. Yeah. I know the numbers aren't
they're not relevant.
I'm not bothered about titles anymore, and the numbers. I'm not even bothered about winning as such. I think because I've done it all. I think at this point now, I'm just very grateful to be able to train and go through that process, because that's what I enjoy. I enjoy
the
process.
journey of it.
Yeah, the process of the camp. a lot more than the fight itself sometimes. So I'm active every day, but when I'm training, obviously now I'm in Thailand, so I'll go and do anywhere between 5 to 7 weeks. And as much as I love my family, I go to Thailand so that I can solely focus on my fights, so there's no distractions. And by that, I don't just mean my family, but my gym members, the other fight. I've got a good network of people, my wife, my sister-in-law, my other instructors here. So between them all, they pretty much run the gym for me. My original gym was Sijapur in Hua Hin. Been there from 2011 till about a couple of years ago. And then I started doing my camps at a gym called Sin Sompinong, now called Revolution in Phuket. The training consisted of everything, so I try and, well, I never hide from the training. If I don't do the 10Ks in the morning, the skipping and the hitting the bags and then the pads and the clinch and the sparring and the same in the evening, then the Thai coaches consider you to be lazy, which means that you're getting fatigued and overtrained. The crazy thing is, when you're fatigued and tired, they generally say, oh, you're not fit enough, you need to do more. They are getting better with understanding when the fighters need rest. But it is about volume when you're in Thailand, which is hard.
And you're training like what, twice a day? More?
Twice a day.
Twice a day. What weight class do you fight in?
Since joining One Championship, 66, but generally before that I was doing anywhere between 61.5 and 63.5. The weight cuts and everything pretty much.
So what would you do?
Generally it was about, I'm a little bit heavier now, but it was about 67 key, fighting 61, get to about 64 and a half.
Are you also watching your diet too?
Yes, calorie counting.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so you get down to 64.
To about 64, 65,
Yeah.
and then I do the next 3 and a bit kilos in water. But I just found it very hard, like to the point where I'd get like shooting pains in my kidneys would be so sore. I'd feel like I'd been doing loads of like deadlifts and that dehydrated that I couldn't chew gum.
Like, what about now though? Because obviously you're not in Thailand to train and you do have a fight coming up. So like what would that schedule look like for you?
I only started a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing a lot of SNC, which has helped me. But I haven't been doing much cardio, so I've started now in the last couple of weeks. I'm just hitting the pads probably maybe 3 or 4 times a week around my teaching schedule.
8, 9.
And then sparring and clinching wherever possible. But I'm not that, there is no urgency at the moment until I probably get to about week 6. Probably take more time away from teaching and then I'd concentrate and have a proper rigid schedule.
How does it feel to be a 2-time Muay Thai World Champion?
Officially, actually 3 times.
3 times? Well, they need to update their facts.
Exactly, yeah. But the thing is at the time when I won my first one, it was...
When was your first debut fight with One?
I think I want to say 18. I've only had 5 fights with him.
How was your first fight? How did you feel walking into it?
It was in Philippines, which is my mom's homeland, which I've never been before, so it was pretty exciting to go. And it was in front of 20,000 people, which I was kind of used to because it was only a couple of hundred people more than I used to.
Okay.
No, I think the most I've ever fought in front of was like 3,000 people, maybe 3.5. So yeah, seeing 20,000 people, it was pretty overwhelming. I was more nervous coming out to that than to the fight. So, but it was cool once you get started.
Yeah.
Like with anything, once you get started with the fight, all you can think of is the person in front of you. So there's nothing.
So what were some challenges that you faced, just like throughout either your career and your journey? Like what were some like of the major challenges?
Probably the major challenges that I've faced would be in the earlier stages of my running the gym and competing, because I didn't have that network around me. Until I was able to start letting go and letting others help. And that's the thing, I think without the network around me, I find it very difficult to do it. So once I built that network around me, it made it easier. But probably the hardest thing was just going and disappearing for ages and not really having proper cover and stuff, and the gym being run, so I was coming back and most of the members weren't here in Germany because I've been away for a while. So in a way, it's good because I was able to do what I wanted, but then on the other end, I was letting people down here. But over time, I've been able to build that and have the instructors and the team around me to help me. So
and again, how long has this gym been open for?
Well, I've had this since 2010. So before that, it was Stockport Thai Fighters, where it was in a little basement, and it wasn't that there was loads of people. It was just, but it was a start. You know, there was a handful of pads and there was some mats, and so it was a start. You know, and that probably run maybe 4 or 5 years before me. All Powers is officially All Powers been running for 11 years. Then the gym has been running before that.
What would you tell your younger self?
I think everything happened progressively at the right time. If I did things differently, then maybe I might have not met the people that I know now as well, you know, and be in the situation that I'm in now.
Let's go.